Good afternoon, everyone, and what a treat it is. Two of my favorite people in the entire world, Leah Notarianni. It took me a year to learn how to say your last name, and then here you are with your beautiful energy. Thank you for joining us. Oh, she's muted. Oh, no. Can you hear her, Shawn?
No.
Okay, good. I thought it was me. Is it you, the adaptopreneur, adapting to the muteness of Leah Notarianni? My best friend in the world. He has red glasses and a blue shirt. You never know what he's going to do, but he always has a white smile because he's full of beautiful energy as well. My brother, happy day after Miles' birthday.
Yeah, and hey, happy driver's license day too. I mean, what a feat, and super excited. Miles and Amalia share this day together. She got her Florida driver's license today.
Oh, right on. They'll always know when to renew together. They can have a renew party. That's a beautiful thing. And 27 years of carpooling kids around. There's a lot of pressure on Miles. I don't put pressure on him for physics or calculus or football or golf. Although, man, this kid's playing some golf. He's ready for you, Shawn. Just beware. He banged out a really good score yesterday, and he still had 2 doubles and a three putts or something, and he still shot at 37. So,
what did you turn on the auto driving on the Tesla? There's no responsibility. He's just going to sit there, and
that's fine, man. We can do that. And Leah's back. It was something I said, I'm sure. Look at her.
Can you hear me? Can we hear me?
No, let's act like we can't hear her.
What? Chuckles. All right, we're running out of time. I can't do this all day with you two. I love you both. Thank you for joining me. We have a mastermind which Leah's going to speak at tomorrow in Orange County. If you want to come see Tim's story, Leah Notarianni, many, many more, come to Newport Beach and see us. We have a VIP dinner afterwards. Always rocking and rolling. Then we'll be on our way to Las Vegas for season 10 of Office Hours. Then on to New York City, New Jersey, then to Phoenix, then back to Vegas, then to SoFi. We're all over the place, 200 cities. If you want to join us, it's david@dmeltzer.com. Or if you want to stay informed like Shawn does and be invited like Shawn is, it's the text community that texts him every day, 949-298-2905. Brianna has been patiently waiting in her beautiful pink sweater or jacket. I can't really tell in the green room, but she looks as happy as the rest of you. You fit right in with your energy and your smile. Welcome, Brianna Sylver.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on, David. I'm excited to be here.
Notice people from Chicago are not showing the outside like Leah is in California, but we love Chicago. I want to talk about your messaging, and your messaging is leading through free fall. And I was curious. I'll let the kids get to the meaning of leading through free fall. But for me, I'm curious what personal experience you had with your own free fall that led you to these core messages that you have.
Sure. So this steps back a little bit to my consulting business. So my consulting business, Sylver Consulting, we support Fortune 500 organizations to lead transformation and change. And one of the key pieces of that is change is hard and it's pretty emotional. And so there's
only people who like change are wet babies.
Exactly. And so there's just like an undercurrent of emotion underneath change. And you have a opportunity as a leader to either see that and lean into it, or like most do, kind of ignore it and push through it and pretend that it doesn't exist. But when you do that, what ends up happening is usually either things stall out, they take longer. It becomes more performative of people saying, yes, I agree with this, and then not taking action towards it. And so I kind of got tired of that. And when I went through my own personal transformation about 10 years ago, I really started to lean into my gifts of clarity and really meeting people where they are. and ultimately have developed a whole tool set, which is embedded within the Leading Through Free Fall book, that really meets people where they are in this change, helps them to come together and find alignment, and ultimately helps everybody to feel seen and heard. And that creates more alignment and collaboration, faster results, etc.
Beautiful. Leah, ladies first.
Oh, thank you so much, Brianna. I just love your energy, and I just love that what you're doing in the world. And I was reading your bio before we jumped in here, and I love a good story of a woman who starts her business, in her apartment closet and grows it to what you've done today. So before I say anything, I'm cheering you on, girl.
Thank you.
I would love to chat with you a little bit about the power of collaboration and energy. I think when people really understand growth at scale, they really understand people, but they also really understand energy. I would love to hear from you. How has your own personal power, your own energy, and your ability to connect and collaborate with others, how has that contributed to your success?
I love this question, Leah, because I always think about, power. You've got power over, which is what the majority of the business world operates based on. And I think one of the things that has attracted me to you, David, is you don't operate that way, right? You operate with power with energy. And that's at the core of how I operate too. And so when it comes to what's the power of collaboration, I mean, it comes back to those aspects of alignment and people feeling seen and feeling heard, and that there's a win-win to be gained with every situation that you're in. And more than that, like, there's a feeling of respect in that process too. So when you're not in that power over energy, everybody wants to be in each other's presence and everybody wants to help each other win. And so if you take that and scale it to a business context, it just makes the work more fun and it makes it more impactful and more, it has just more speed to make it happen as well.
More abundant for sure. And analyzing, Shawn, as you and I do a lot of time, are we working with power with or force, which creates that counter force? And there's a big distinction. Is we're both fans of Dr. David Hawkins, who writes about power and force a lot. Adaptopreneur himself, there's a lot to get here. What are you puzzled or curious about?
Well, Brianna, first of all, at the end, David's going to tell you we've got to get you back on more David Meltzer stuff. And I'm going to agree with that wholeheartedly. This is a discussion that obviously we're limited on time, but could go on for a very long time, because I'm very intrigued by this, because I am blessed to be on this program with three people who have amazing stories. Basically a comeback story, if you will, from different reasons, different situations in life. When you hear David and Leah tell their story, and now listening to you, Brianna, it always just seems like it was so easy. Leah just picked up her stuff and moved to the United States, and David lost everything, just built it back. But when we truly are in that situation of free fall, it doesn't feel easy. It doesn't feel like there's really any direction. When you're in free fall, you're free falling down. What guidance do you have for those that might feel in this moment that they are in that state of free fall, so that they can see their surroundings and understand that, one, you can't free fall into eternity, and two, either we're going to hit the ground and die, but that's not likely. And so there is a positive outcome out there for those that are in that situation. I mean, the three of you share a big comeback story. What advice do you have people that are in the midst of that right now?
Yeah, this is a great question. And so what I always tell people, first of all, like, pay attention to the emotion and pay attention to your body. Your body is telling you when you're uncomfortable. It's telling you how you're sort of navigating those free fall moments. And, one of the key tools that I use, honestly, daily, sometimes multiple times a day for myself, that's in the Leading Through Free Fall book, is what I call the 5 intention setting questions. And so this is like literally just, spend 2 minutes journaling about it. But the first question is like, what do I not want to have happen? That can be life. It can be a situation. It can be a phone call, whatever it is, right? What do I not want to have happen? How do I not want to feel? What do I want to have happen? How do I want to feel? And then how do I want others to feel? And so just the process of going through those 5 questions, less than 5 minutes, it helps to reground you, but it also helps to like extinguish all the negativity. So that's why you start with the negative. And then when you get to the positive, you can really access the fullness of what you really want to achieve in that moment instead of being dampened or muted by that negativity. And then when you ask it the final question of like, what do you want others to feel? It really then helps to ground you so that because we're other focused. I think that's the thing that we have and we share in common on this screen right now is that we're other focused. And so it helps to reposition as you come out of that exercise to say, in what way do I want to serve the others that I'm going to be engaging with in whatever that situation is?
Amazing. If you want to learn more about the human glitch, these innovation tools to help build a framework to success, she is a collaboration rich, wealthy woman, and the power with which she brings her energy is appreciated and acknowledged here with my 2 best friends on Office Hours. Thank you, Brianna Sylver.
Thank you. I appreciate the time.
You got it. Check her out at Brianna Sylver, and she's everywhere. Sylverconsulting.com. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. David means beloved, and this guy, David, is my beloved Goldberg, which is my mom's maiden name. He's a New Yorker, which I love, strategic working, speaking, pitch coach, and he is the CEO at some killer studios called Edge Studios, which we use in New York, edgestudio.com if you're looking for a great place to do content. But David, welcome to episode 861 or so of Office Hours.
Fabulous to be here. Hi, everyone.
Well, we're always learning here, and I help people with pitching, but I'm always curious about other people's pitching, pitch coaching, mentorship, and teaching. And you really have honed in specificity of different capabilities of pitching, honed as a speech advisor, a voice director for over 100 national brands. I'm really picking up on the idea of the voice and frequency when I think about how you understand pitch coaching. Give me an idea of how important it is, what frequency we're speaking at as a speech advisor.
So it's so weird. It kind of hit me a couple of years ago. Every brand focuses, even obsesses.
I thought you were going to talk about my haircut. Okay, good. We were talking about 7 years ago. Okay, cool.
Mine's weird.
It's so weird. Your hair looks like shit. Last time I saw you was much nicer. I should have put my watch on though. Damn it. So anyway,
I should have worn mine also. Yeah,
New York. I'm coming March 26th. I'm gonna wear my watch.
Oh yeah, I'll wear mine too.
All right,
definitely.
Cool. We got matching watches, Shawn. Don't get jealous.
But instead of knuckles, we'll watch.
Yeah, exactly. Wonder Twins. All right.
So yeah,
romance,
it's weird,
bracelets.
Okay, companies they completely obsess over how they look. Think about it. They spend so much resources on their branding, their designs, their logos, the colors. They make sure the newsletter looks great, the website looks great. Yet they never spend time or resources on how their people sound. It's like a lost art. And ultimately, I believe it's at minimum equally as important that people sound as good as their brands look, or I think it's even more important, honestly. So you talk about pitches, a good pitch, a really good pitch, someone who speaks great can sell a pretty bad looking slide deck, but the reverse is not the case. And so people I believe they need to learn how to sound. And the reason this all came to me is because I have these 5 studios where you've been, David. Yep. My 5 studios in Times Square, we record human voice. We specialize in the nuance of human voice. And we record the soundtracks for commercials and audiobooks, documentaries, lots of cartoon soundtracks and video game soundtracks and all of these things. And with 5 studios, after 38 years of having my business, it's a long time, every client comes in here and they obsess over what words to use. And if you have 15 seconds of airtime, you make darn sure that you choose the right words. And then I play the role of voice director. So for all of these years, we're focusing on the best way to say the word. Like, how does it come across the right way? And so I've learned from so many people, so many experts, how to choose the most strategic words and how to say them so you get the most bang for your buck. And then we realized that investors need these, or rather entrepreneurs need these things when they go after investors. And so it's become a whole business for me, just working with entrepreneurs on their pitches.
Wow. Leah.
That's incredible. That's incredible, David. What I'm picking up from you beyond what you're sharing is just your presence. And I love that that's such a big part of what you're coaching and you're teaching on. I would love to hear from your perspective how because it's not just the sound of your voice, but it's your cadence, it's your energy, it's your groundedness, it's your congruency, it's your connection. How are you teaching and navigating that space so the frequency of the words that somebody shares has weight to them? And how are you teaching to go from that disconnection to connection within self that has that ability to ripple that wave out?
No, I love that question. That's like my dream question. Thanks. So,
Good.
okay,
You're my
here's a
dream
really
girl, and
weird
that's his dream
word.
question.
More weirdness. There's a word for exactly what you just described. The word prosody. No one
Okay.
knows what prosody is. Almost no one. I just learned it a few months ago. I've been teaching it for all these years.
Amazing.
And someone said to me recently,
What
"Oh,
does
dude,
prosody mean? I'm
you mean
kidding.
prosody. Prosody is the way you say your words. It's exactly as you said, Leah. Your intonation, your inflection, your rhythm of words, your pacing, your spacing, and all of that. That's prosody. It's the characteristics of how you speak. And so I pride myself because of my background with having to rush clients through their sessions. Every client is in a rush. I pride myself on never prescribing theory. I don't touch theory. We focus on like micro refinements. Someone reads a word, we have to get them to say it up or down or faster or slower. They're all little like adjustments. So I have one example that completely clarifies it. I have a client who called me in a rush. She said, David, oh, by the way, she's a consultant for a seriously large nonprofit. She called me up and said, I need you like ASAP. The CEO is about to give a pitch with 3 investors. He has 21 slides of information to get through. He's concerned that he has to speed read, which would make sense with 21 slides in 3 minutes. And because he has to read so quickly, he's nervous that he's going to sound rushed. So now he's nervous that he's going to sound nervous, basically. It's all a mess. So I said, okay, can I have a coaching session with the guy like we usually do? She said, no, he's pitching in like minutes. What can I tell him to do? So I thought about it and I said, well, tell him to do 2 things. I said, tell him to slow down the first word of every sentence and tell him to double the space between sentences and he should be fine. And he was. The little refinements work. So if someone sounds nervous, their pitch goes up. I can't imagine an investor wanting to invest in someone who sounds nervous because, as investors, you invest in the person first, the business second, right? So I want to make sure this guy doesn't sound nervous. So by telling him to slow down the first word of every sentence, that will lower his pitch and then he will sound grounded. He may be nervous. He will be nervous, but he won't sound nervous. And by the way, people who say these like theoretical things like, come on, you can do it. You know your stuff. I don't buy that stuff. People are nervous. So slow down the first word of every sentence. You won't sound nervous. But then I also told him to leave more space between sentences. The reason for that is because he has so much content to get through. He's going to speed read through everything, make everyone feel like they're being rushed through the content. He's going to get tongue-tied and all kinds of yucky stuff. So if he takes space, he always grounds himself. He can catch his own breath. Investors have a chance to absorb what he's saying. He won't get tongue-tied. He won't speak in circles. And I guarantee he'll get through more content in less time. So that's what we've been focusing on, like little micro adjustments that just help people come across better. It's very fun.
Speaking of coming across better, there's nobody better than my main man, the adaptopreneur, Shawn Dill, Dr. Shawn Dill. What are you thinking?
I think I have a great idea. I think that David, Leah, and I should do a show called Office Hours Deep Dive because it would be great to just spend 30 minutes with one guest. I could talk to
That's
David
against the law. That's not in the
sorry.
520 rule. You guys can have your own show. I'll watch. I'll be a big fan. You can use my brand in my community. That's way too long for me.
To the point of I mean, such an interesting conversation, and I know again we're up against it on the clock here. But David, one of the things I noticed sitting here, you have a unique ability because you are a professional to move your voice up into your nasal cavity. Being a doctor, Females tend to speak more from here, and Leah speaks more from her head, and David Meltzer speaks more from his chest. And in your last answer, David, you moved through various registers. You spoke sometimes from your chest, and sometimes, like when you were giving us a hypothetical, someone else was talking, you were able to go up there. A lot of people really struggle with that. So even if they were nervous, their higher register just kind of sounds like this, versus like you have a unique ability to control your voice like a musical instrument. A lot of people struggle because they don't have that ability. And even if they were excited, it sounds very bland. Any tips on how us as males can move up like you're able to do? And for females to move their register down a little bit lower in an effort to control, like you were talking about, your cadence, your timbre, and the way that we're presenting our voice.
Smile. When you smile, everything happens. It's amazing. I tell everyone, every entrepreneur, if you smile at the beginning of a presentation, you ground yourself, you feel better, and also stand, by the way, as I'm standing now. You have more range. It just works. So here, and also just, you don't have to be so fearful of being weird, as we used the word earlier. People like people who are just authentic, and weird is authentic sometimes. So when you try to be someone else you're not, or sound like someone else, it's weird. If you some people will like try to put on the announcer sound and do that kind of stuff, and that stuff is weird.
Yeah, we're really weird. And the next up, I know. Anyway, I love David. Thank you so much. We will have other shows and have you on, and we'll spend at least 20 minutes with you, not 30. But David Goldberg can help you in so many different ways. Check him out at Edge Studio VO if you're in New York City. If you need a voiceover, a voice director, a speech advisor, he is one of the top Vistage presenters in the world, and he will also help you nail your investor deck. David Goldberg, we had silver, now we have gold. Thanks for joining us on Office Hours.
Hey, thank you so much for letting me share. You guys
see
are
you
awesome.
next week. See you next week.
Thank you.
Yes. Goodbye.
Thank you, brother. Awesome. All right, silver, then gold. We must have, what is it left? Platinum. Mark the double M. Meckler in the house, president of Convention of States Action. Mark, welcome. Thank you for your patience. I love your background to Office Hours.
Great to be with you. And by the way, great conversation. I learned a lot. I'm done. I got everything that I needed out of this. I'm going to go out and be a much better speaker.
Well, I'm glad you're here because more than ever, I know we always need fiscal restraints. But man, things seem to me, I'm a neophyte, but it seems to me that we are out of control. And I was curious, you are leading a national movement to impose those fiscal restraints. I was hoping you could enlighten me personally and hopefully our community on some of the more simple fiscal constraints that we should be implementing.
Yeah, when you look at the size and scope of the federal government right now, it is so completely out of control. The numbers are numbers that are so big. I don't deal with big numbers, but for any of us, $38 trillion in debt. The reality is none of us even actually knows what 38 trillion means. When I started this work, it was actually 19 trillion, so it's doubled. I didn't know what 19 trillion meant. What I can tell you that it means that's really dangerous for our country right now is no country has ever survived a situation where the interest on the national debt has exceeded the budget of the Defense Department. And we are just about to surpass that amount. So we've got to do something about it. There are actually pretty simple things we can do about it. One is that we can impose a balanced budget amendment. All of us know you can't spend more money than you bring in forever. You can go into debt. You can use your credit cards. You can take out a loan, maybe a second mortgage on your house, but eventually the piper has to be paid. And the same is true with the federal government. They have more ability to extend themselves because they can print money, but eventually that whole house of cards is going to come crashing down. So one of the things you can do is impose a balanced budget amendment that says can't spend more than you can bring in. That would flatline the spending for a while and potentially allow us to catch up by using growth to catch up.
Wow. So Mark, I was reading all of your accolades before we jumped on here, and creating a movement powered by 23 million volunteers is so impressive. What would you say the main qualities of either your vision or yourself that has allowed you to step into that level of leadership for those that are listening?
Yeah, I would say the first thing, and David talked about this, is being yourself. When I got involved first in politics and activism, my wife and I talked about this a lot. The one thing that I never wanted to be was to try to be something that I actually wasn't, to have an image or some kind of particular presentation. And people are automatically drawn to authenticity. And I really am just a regular guy. I am a grassroots guy. I've led now 2 large grassroots movements. But I think the most attractive quality in, and frankly, any leader who's out in the public eye, is authenticity, so that your people know that you're like them, that you care about them, that you can relate to them. For me, that's always first and foremost.
Mark, last week when I was on the show, we had a interesting conversation around something that was called the red tsunami, and what's going on with our government relative to the real war that's occurring, which is not on the battlefield, and really a war kind of for our minds, and kind of a war over systems of government. And I left there thinking, like, oh my gosh, like this sounds really scary. And now I'm fortunate to meet you, and I think, wow, $38 trillion. This is really scary. Obviously, you're very passionate about this, and you really believe in the potential for change, and I do too. But sometimes there's a little piece of us that's like, look, even if we had a balanced budget act, they're going to find a way. They're going to like what is the reality for change? Because that's really scary too. When you said no country has survived, what I also, I guess, just real quick, my question is, what happens to those? What do you mean they don't survive? They get taken over, they collapse. What happens there? But what really the core is, what's the real possibility that we're able to get this under control?
So I'm going to answer both those questions. I'm going to start with what happens, and a variety of things happen. Yeah, sometimes they do get taken over, and sometimes it's military, in the sense that when you lose your ability to perform economically, you lose your ability to defend your own country on the field of battle. You lose the ability to have a first-rate military. And a country like ours, that is actually right now the world hegemon. There's a lot of folks that oppose us. If we lose the ability to fund our military, what starts to happen is we withdraw from the world. We try to withdraw into our own borders. And that might have worked a long time ago, but we live in a world where the world will come to us. And people travel so easily, militaries travel so easily. So we could see that. We could actually see violence on our own borders inside our own country. Another thing that happens to countries that start to fall apart economically is that they fall apart internally. So what starts to happen is they fracture. They fracture along ethnic lines. That's least likely for our country. Most likely for us, it's geographic lines. So what you could potentially see happen is that the country breaks into little regional countries. And ultimately, all of those countries will be poorer and weaker than the United States of America. So that's why I'm so
California.
Yeah, like California. I mean, look, California's a huge state and a giant economic engine, but it's being run so improperly right now that it could sink itself, and it could help to sink the rest of the country. And you compare that to a state like Texas, where I live, which is being run pretty well economically. It's an economic engine. Texas, by the way, has produced most of the net job gain in the United States of America over the last 10 years. So it kind of covers up for places like New York and California. So I think there is a potential geographical split that happens. And then to go to the fundamental question, can we really fix it? And the answer is, I certainly believe so. I have a lot of faith in the American people. This country was built on doing the impossible. I'm very hopeful because I travel all over the country. I see this on the ground in the states all over the country. I see a lot of states doing a really good job right now. Texas is pretty well governed. Utah is very well governed. Tennessee, South Carolina, North Carolina to a lesser extent. There are a lot of states out there now that are governing themselves pretty well. And so that tells me that these models exist, that people who believe in, I think fundamental to this is free market enterprise, are out there in the world and they're having an influence. And we're also seeing major business players, as you guys know, move to places that are now more free market oriented, less regulation, more just freedom in general, places like Tennessee, Texas, and Florida. So I think that's the model for the future. And I think that should give us all hope.
It does. In Naples, here I come. The Ritz-Carlton residences, the Meltzers are moving. The double M, Mark Meckler, he's helping all of us brighten our future with pragmatic, prudent business decision, impose fiscal restraints on our federal government. And Mark is leading the national movement. If you want to follow and support, go to conventionofstates.com. Mark will be happy to have you join him in his grassroots activism to help change the world, let alone our country. Mark, we certainly appreciate you. We look forward to always having you back, hopefully seeing you in person when you're down in Texas, Tennessee, Florida, or one of those really good states. Or you can come out to the weather tax state where Leah and I sit. We may go under, but we're going to be sunburned nonetheless. Thank you, my brother. We'll see you soon.
Thank you guys very much.
You got it. Awesome. All right. It is my favorite time with my favorite people. It's called Takeaway of the Day. Most people are thoroughly entertained when they watch it like this, but they don't get anything. So I make sure they get something on the way out. Leah, what is your takeaway of the day?
My takeaway of today is you two are amazing, and I'm just so happy to be here and be in both of your energy. So first takeaway, shout out to Dave and Shawn. It's so great to be with you both.
You're always welcome.
Thank you. What an incredible group of guests. I think just the energy, even just being in the green room, was just so awesome. I think when people are really connected to themselves and authentic, they can really connect really well with others. And I think the wave that I kind of rode throughout this conversation was just, understanding energetic connection, mastery through micro refinements, and being able to spark movements that. And I think when people look at their own path and their journey in life, and they use empathy and compassion and leading with a level of service, it can really spark some pretty incredible things. So for those that are listening, follow your heart in the things that matter to you, and you never know how far it's going to take you.
Love it. Adaptopreneur, Dr. Shawn Dill, my best friend. Oh, you changed glasses, by the way. I noticed.
Where's your glasses? I thought you were going to put your glasses on.
I wanted to know what color. I wanted to know what color to wear. So I'll go. All right.
There we go. While you're doing that, congratulations to Leah. I've been following the launch of the jewelry. So everybody make sure that you are following along. Super exciting ride. My takeaway from today is that anything is possible. I love that we started off with the free fall. I love how someone, has found a niche in voice training, and it, showed us that it's not just the words, but it's also how we are able to express those words. And then somebody tackling this idea of fiscal responsibility, and with a strong belief that this can change. I mean, listen, this has to change. And so I'm glad that there's people like Mark on the planet that are advocating for the three of us and all of the other millions of us that need to be advocated for. And also, we need to do our part in supporting people that are advocating for us. Lastly, David, I will see you on Tuesday in Las Vegas. Super excited for that.
I'm super excited whenever I get to see you as well. My takeaway of the day, thank you, by the way, is the paradox of hard things. Whether it was silver, gold, or platinum today, our three guests illustrated the paradox of hard things. And I think a lot of people are afraid of hard things. And with Sylver Consulting helping with, this power with, and then most people are afraid to speak. And David Goldberg is helping people with some of the hardest things, which is pitching and speaking. And of course, fiscal responsibility at a national or international level may even be the hardest thing. And I love the fact that life is made by what you do with the harder things. And if it was easy, everybody would do it. And I love the paradox of hard things. I love hard things. I love to work through them. It fulfills me, gives me passion, purpose, and that's what creates the profitability. So I want to thank all three of our guests for illustrating the paradox of hard things. We all go through them. Remember, there's a solution in every problem. It's just a lapse of time before it becomes a resolution, a resolution. Thank you both for joining me. Thanks for your patience of putting up with my bad humor and my cool glasses. Thank you. Thank you. I love you. Please come back.
Maybe.
Amaya, congratulations. She's a driver. All right. All right. That was Office Hours episode 861. And I had the best friends in the world. Surround yourself with the right people and the right idea. Show me your friends. and I'll show you your future. My future is so bright, I have to wear shades. Anyways, we'll hopefully see you tomorrow with Leah, Tim Story, myself at the Orange County Mastermind in Newport Beach. Then we will be going to Las Vegas for season 10 with Shawn Dill, Leah and I, hopefully, Leah, and then New York and New Jersey, then Phoenix for the professional athlete community, then the Masters Mastermind, then back to Aspire at Phoenix, and then SoFi Stadium in LA. We run a car wash. That's meetups, holding courts, interviews, fireside chats, movies, TV shows, and of course, got to have VIP dinners for charity. Come and join us if you want to be informed, not invited, and invited, sorry, 949-298-2905. Stay informed, stay invited, or just email me or Nick, david@dmeltzer.com, Nick @dmeltzer.com. But remember, most importantly, be kind. Be kind to your future self and do good deeds. Hit it, Gigi.